course, from the Predicament. He's kind enough to join us and share his wisdom. And he's Wyatt Schultz from the Predicament. Good evening, Wyatt.
Good evening. How's everybody out there?
We're good. We were just trying to figure out. We knew you were in Rochester. What was the duel you went to then after you left there?
Rochester was on Friday. I went up for the duels. That was a Friday-Saturday tournament. But Saturday I came back down to Benton Community Van Horn and watched the Jerry Eckenrod Invitational. So then on Sunday, of course, then we went to the national duels up in Cedar Falls. So it was.
You ever stay home, brother? You ever stay home?
Well, actually, and right now I'm at Cedar Rapids Jefferson. We're doing the pre-siege for the Jayhawk Invitational for tomorrow. So yeah, I'm been pretty busy.
So why are you married?
Yes, I am.
Do you have to reintroduce yourself to your wife every week, or
every so often I do? Yes.
What's her first name?
Kirsten.
Saint Kirsten.
Kirsten, yes.
And
that's right.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we all know how that goes, but yeah, you just do a superb job. And Tony and I are talking about how we miss getting out, courtside and watching basketball. And you're one of the guys that allow us to do what we do because you're our eyeballs and feet on the ground getting to all these tournaments.
And also, why are you going to be down here next week for the Urbandale tournament, the Ed Winger?
Of course, the Ed Winger Classic is a classic in itself. That's a mini-state tournament, and I was just kind of looking through it at all the teams that are going to be there again. And of course, you kind of miss Ed Winger not being there, but it is a great tournament.
Well, we have a chance to get you in studio next Friday night. That's what I'm saying. Instead of having to talk to you from a great distance, we can put a face and shake hands with you if that's a possibility.
Oh, yeah, that might be a possibility. I might be able to come over there on Friday night.
All right, that sounds like fun.
Good, because I get tired of looking at Tony on a consistent basis.
Yeah, I've seen him on the computer, and I'd get tired of that, too.
What? We want you in next week, brother. You're going to be sitting right next to him and across from me, and we'll have some fun.
Yeah, sounds good.
I'm friends with this wrestler. I'm sure you're familiar with him. I might have him in here with me, Wyatt, after that last comment.
What's that?
I'm familiar with some pretty good wrestlers. Maybe I'll have them in studio with us, too, after your last comment.
As long as it's not Tom Brands or Kevin Jackson.
Okay. No, that's pretty intense. Well, talk about it. I mean, you went to the national duels, Iowa excluded. What was it like without them there?
It's kind of disappointing because the duels need Iowa for the fan support. Iowa draws so well. The fan support was probably down half, which was disappointing. But Minnesota, I thought, traveled real well, and I guess I've seen enough Minnesota high school wrestling that I enjoy their wrestling. So I enjoy watching the Minnesotas, the Wisconsins. And even your Division II and III schools, they're a lot of fun. There's going to be a lot of Iowa kids that are going to these border schools like Augustana, University of Omaha, and even Wisconsin now has signed some kids out of Iowa. So it's fun watching these with the writers up there in Minnesota. It's fun watching these college teams with the Iowa kids on them.
We're talking to Wyatt Schultz of the Predicament, and the reality of that is, and we should be very proud, we know it, and you certainly know it, is that's the depth of the talent coming out of our high school ranks in all classes, is now the other states are coming to raid the talent that exists on these teams.
Yeah, that's right. And also, you're getting some of these the coaches that are going around the country that were schooled here in Iowa or under Gable or Harold Nichols or coaches like that, and they're coming back to the heartland, basically. I guess I like to attribute it to the old farm work ethic, and starting to get some of these kids that work hard and want to develop into national champions.
Well, while we're talking a little bit about the college and how these high school kids from the state of Iowa end up in college, of course, the University of Iowa also always has a good roster, but great point brought up by our producer, Ben Carroll here. Iowa's continuous dual streak is on the line. They take on Oklahoma State this Sunday. What's it look like for them there?
It's going to be tough. I haven't really looked at the close matchups. The only thing I will say is Oklahoma State struggled up at the duels also, and so it's not a given that Oklahoma State will win. Iowa's not going to certainly go down there to give up the duels, and so it could be very interesting. What's interesting for me is a couple of years ago we had the Dream Team Classic here in Iowa, and some of those kids from Oklahoma State were up and wrestled. So doing that Dream Team over the last 10 or 11 years, I've gotten to meet a lot of these kids that have gone around to other schools, like the Jordan Oliver. He wrestled here in Iowa City. Actually, I think if I'm not mistaken, he beat Matt McDonough at the Dream Team. Actually, beat him pretty bad. So some of those kids in Oklahoma State are pretty good. And so it may be a very interesting duel.
Well, Wyatt, we certainly appreciate you taking a few moments on this Friday night, as you have been each and every week. And Tony will talk to you this week early, and let's attempt to get you in the studio. We can have some fun next Friday when you're in town for the big tournament.
That sounds good. I'd enjoy that.
All right, Wyatt. Have a great weekend.
I will. You guys have one, too.
All right,
Thanks,
look forward
Wyatt.
to seeing you next week. That'll be interesting. He'll be sitting right there next to
No,
you.
he can
pal.
sit here with the camera, and I'll get off the camera.
No. We can get Aaron's a wizard with Maggie and Andrew, and they'll get 3 camera angles here, pal.
All right.
Let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk to Waverly Shell Rock wrestling coach, talk about some tradition, Rick Caldwell,
A little bit.
here on Friday Night Live on the Iowa Sports Connection Radio Network.